Feel like thematically it makes a lot of sense to go with a demonic-focused Slaanesh army when facing off against the Dark Elves, like these Dark Elves partied too hard and literally summoned a bunch of Slaanesh demons on accident. So we're going to watch that today as Koops takes his elite kind of demons army, mostly. He does have 2 Hellstriders with Hell Scourges here into these Dark Elves. He's got a couple of Seekers on each flank as well for 4 in total, 4,000 value worth of very squishy hard-hitting cavalry, and 3 Exalted Demonettes is the only main line here, including the Bringers of Beguilement, who of course have Rampage, Euphoric Rampage on their attacks. There's also some Witch Elves here who, again, have Rampage, not to mention the army ability of Slaanesh, and I believe he did also take... no, he did not take Hysterical Frenzy, so not actually the maximum amount of Rampage possible, but still. For said Dark Elf army, you saw the 3 Witch Elves, got 4 Corsairs up front, some Dark Shards, 3 Blackguard for Elite Halberds in the back, High Beastmaster, very interesting choice, and then a Sorceress of Shadows with just Pit of Shades and Enfeebling Foe. So let's get things rolling. And given the immobility of this Dark Elf army, Koops is immediately going to go for the full surround very swiftly with his cavalry here and start to drop some charges. These Raven's Heralds, repeater crossbows up in the air, I actually really like the pick, especially because Koops doesn't have any Furies, right? Slaanesh generally lacks a lot of flying tools, but it's going to be a pretty bloody and brutal frontline fight just right off the bat. Bringers of Beguilement don't even need Devastating Flanker. They can just charge straight in and massacre these Corsairs in a huge hurry. And the Seekers also close from multiple directions at the same time, so it's going to be a big, bloody, and brutal mess, especially for the Corsairs who are in that front line, but just in general. It's also a little bit tough because the Seekers and other units for Slaanesh are going to get rampaged and not be able to cycle charge like they need to. They're going to get kind of caught up here, and as the Blackguards start to soak in, they'll be able to do some pretty good damage, but it looks like they're going to get Fascination just to enrage them, so yeah, how many of these units are actually microable right now? At any given time, it's less than a typical game for sure. But regardless, Bringers of Beguilement also go out of control there, and it is very quick, but basically even on both sides. I mean, the Halberds coming in as that last line. Once a lot of the Slaanesh stuff was enraged, they were able to get some pretty good value, clean up quite a bit of the cavalry as well. And then the Demonettes, though, I mean, all 3 units of Demonette infantry are doing a great job. And just generally racking up the kills. So let's get in close. I mean, it is just a brutal slaughter right now. So let's watch some of these Demonettes as they wreck this unit of Blackguards over here. I mean, I say that. They are quite isolated against basically 2 units of Demonettes, more or less, but the Demonettes are also taking significant damage. Nice little rear charge here from the Witch Elves into the Demonettes, who are actually, I feel like, a fairly solid counter. The Madness of Cain not only does it give Rampage, but also has the addition of speed and melee defense debuffs, both of which are really good against the Demonettes, right, to slow them down and make them that much easier to hit. They have decent melee defense, but if you can get hits on them, they'll take damage pretty quickly, so yeah, it's a still fairly brutal, even fight, if not slightly in favor of the Dark Elves right now because of the squishy demons. I think pretty much all the Seekers are gone already. Just a few Hellstriders, these Demonettes heading around as well. So the Witch Elves also, just all the units on both sides out of control. Critically, though, Koops has kept his Lord away from the Witch Elves for the most part, and it hasn't really been enraged too much. Yeah, Demon Prince of Slaanesh here, now moving into Snipe the Caster. Does have to be careful not to be caught up too much in the Witch Elves, obviously. Like I said, that Enrage for an expensive Flying Lord like this is quite critical. Needs to be able to keep casting those spells as long as possible, too. And has so far absorbed the damage of the Raven's Heralds, no problem. Exalted Demonettes here, continuing to just trade into the Blackguards, and pretty much it comes down to Demonettes versus Blackguard all across the field, plus then the Demon Prince. So let's keep it close here on him. These handful of Hellstriders also maneuvering around. It's definitely going to absolutely massacre that caster. No question. The Sorceress gets devoured in a big hurry. Now can move on to the next target, which probably should be the Beastmaster. He's also taking some pretty significant damage against these Demonettes here. But the Demonettes over on this far side actually do getting shot in the back by the Ravens Heralds, and fighting against the Blackguards do eventually just fully run out of steam. And the elite halberds of the Dark Elves are successful, but will they be able to hold out in the late game against the terror of the Demon Prince, especially with the handful of Demonettes, these 25 that remain, plus a couple of Hellstriders for some poison. And it's looking fairly solid. Beastmaster is here somewhere, getting slapped around by the Demon Prince. I almost feel, though, I don't know, I mean, the Ravens Heralds initially had been focusing on the Demon Prince, but then switched to other targets. I'm not sure if that was the right call at the end of the day. Demonettes are dangerous, certainly, but I don't know. I feel like the priority target should have been the Lord from the beginning. Really nice whip there is going to hit basically all of the remaining Blackguard and cause them to rout. So there you go. Quick and brutal game for both sides, honestly. Yeah, absolute massacre. But those Demonettes, man, just straight up the pipe in the face into the Dark Elves. Really didn't have the tools to stop that, and they definitely paid the price for it. The Seekers did a little bit less well, but still overall pretty solid. And then, of course, the Demon Prince in the late game is pretty good. I just generally am a fan of the Demon Prince, I think, of Slaanesh right now. It gives you a really strong, monstrous Flying Lord option. Like, Azazel's great, but this guy, I feel like it's just more impactful as a full-on monster. Hellstriders also are here. They are okay. But Blackguard actually do alright as well. The Witch Elves, considering how badly they died, also managed to trade back in value pretty well. The Corsairs is really where this build kind of fell down, with only one of them paying for themselves, and infantry skirmishers against Slaanesh are almost never a go. Even against a very narrow build like this, it can be really hard to protect them, which is why the Ravens Heralds up in the air are such a good pick. But I would probably say, yeah, you could cut these two and maybe even combine the value. Just take like a Scourge Runner, maybe even cut one of these other Corsairs, maybe take a couple of Scourge Runners. I don't know. They'll still get caught by Seekers, but if you can keep at least a couple of the models alive long enough to do some damage, they can be annoying, certainly, for Slaanesh to deal with. Not an expert by any means, but it's definitely a fun matchup, pretty dynamic one, and very loreful as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.